My name is Kangume Stella, a Ugandan female aged 34 years. I come from a cell called Nyamabuga in the ward called Nyamabuga, Ugombe Town Council, Chenjojo District in the country Uganda. I'm glad that I'm here with you right now. I'm so thankful for God's grace that He enabled us to gather at a time like this. I recognize the presence of each and everybody here. I know that God has a great purpose as to why He has brought us together. In the ward, I work as a woman counselor, and in the same council, I work as the secretary for education, sports, and interest groups. In the school, in the Nyamabuga school, I work as a pre-primary teacher for the learners aged 3 years to 6 years. I started working from that school since 2009. Today, I will be speaking about the needs, challenges, recommendations for Uganda children. Thank you so much. The following are what children need to grow, develop, and perform well in studies. Point number 1 is love. Children need to be loved so that they can enjoy their life as well as studies. Point number 2 is respect. Most people, they think that it's we old people who need respect. Yet also these young ones, they need also to be respected. Respecting a little one doesn't mean that it is taking your respect. No, you can stay as old as you are, but as you need to respect that child, at least you need to take yourself to the level of that person. There you will be even helped to, like, when communicating, you can communicate with that child, and the child gets to understand you, is seeing that you are really respecting. If it means kneeling down, you kneel.
Yes.
So another point is about playing. Our children need a lot of plays. Thus, they need to be provided with playing materials to exercise themselves. Appreciation. Our children, they need to be appreciated in whatever they do. But you wonder, some parents, some people, they see a child is trying to do this, but instead of thanking him or her, they just stop and say, oh, what have you done this? You see the way how you have done it. Yet, the child wants to learn, and you know they need to learn practically. Motivation. There is no one who can appreciate the work done and motivate unless he or she has recognized the work done. When you recognize, that's when you come up with motivation. You give gifts. So our children, they need to be appreciated. Sharing. You find parents not supporting their children. Like, our children need to share, like the eats. They come with their eats, like food in their boxes. They need to share with their fellows. But you find that there is a parent who can say, you, my child, I have packed for you this eats. Don't share, you eat alone. not knowing that sharing it is part and parcel of a child's growth and development. At least every child from 0 years to 18 years need the above, what I have already stated. At least each child, they need that. I attended one of the conference from where I learned from one of the people who had come from education insurance. This person said that the word parent, it is an abbreviation, it is abbreviated, which is written in full as, yes, parent. P stands for pay school fees. A stands for attend school meetings. R stands for reminds a child to do homework. E, exemplary in public. N, never discriminate a child. T, teach a child good morals.
Wow. That's good.
But unfortunately, most of our parents, they don't do that. They don't do that. I have a question there. If they don't do all that for their children, and yet we have heard that our children, in order to grow and develop and perform well in studies, they need all those to be done. So a question comes, where is a Uganda child heading? I have a proverb, it states that it is the next generation, in bracket young trees, that guarantee the existence, future of a forest. If we don't have children, we have no Uganda tomorrow.
Wow. Wow.
Next, challenges that children in Uganda face. Poverty. Most of our parents in Uganda, they are unable to pay school fees to their children due to lack of finances. The little money they get, they invest it in other businesses. Second point is about ignorance. Most parents in Uganda do not go to school. That's why they don't value education. They don't look at education as an investment. You can find a parent having a conversation with his or her child, telling him or her that you can see me, I'm alive, I'm eating, I'm putting on.
Wow.
Don't you see? Education is nothing. I did not go. Not going to school did not stop me from being alive. So I'm alive. So the child in such conversation, the child end up being discouraged. We've got also a challenge of witchcraft. Our children are facing this challenge. As you have been watching, you saw how the powers of darkness affect children in the schools. Where I'm working from, it's by the grace of God that these days we are not experiencing such. But this witchcraft, parents, they bewitch themselves, even they involve children. You find a parent busy looking for money to go and get satanic powers instead of trying to use that money to pay for the school fees for children. More to that, child neglect. Most parents, especially men, they no longer want to provide for their children. They are fond of having very many wives, producing very many children, but when it comes to providing for their children, taking care of their children. They run away. They leave the wives alone.
One of my uncles has 35 children. 35 children.
One of your uncles has 35 children.
Yes. And 9 women have been his wives since in the house, forgetting the concubines.
They run. They don't want to fulfill the responsibilities. And it also happened in the family where I come from. My mom was left alone. My father have more than 10 pupils, 10 children. And when it comes to providing, whenever my mom could say, but the child needs this, the child needs this, the father decided to run, and is no longer, even right now, is not at home due to that reason. Love for money. You find a rich parent is being given a child. A poor parent gives his or her child to a rich one in order this man or woman to earn a living. He gives away his child to work for the other one, such that like monthly, he will be able to earn something. You find a child is working, yet is supposed to be in school. That's a child abuse.
Yeah, that's right.
More so, unemployment. A big number of people in Uganda doesn't have jobs. And even the graduated ones, they are struggling with life. We have got that challenge. So when parents are lacking jobs, you find that they are unable to pay school fees, to provide for their children, because they don't have jobs. There is a challenge of corruption in our country. Most people have failed to get jobs because they don't have the money to give to the employees. You find the people, they have just come from institutions, they have just graduated, so they don't have for sure money to give in order to be given jobs. And you find that a person is graduated but is doing the same work as somebody who did not go to school. We have got cases of the increase of our people on border. You see someone who's graduated, but the work is doing border.
Which is a taxi.
Driving
with a
motorcycles, right?
Motorcycles, yes. Furthermore, mindset. You find parents talking with their children, giving even examples which are not supportive. When someone thinks that, for me, I did not go to school, but I'm trying to struggle with life. When he thinks of such, he ends up having a talk with the children. And instead of the children to be motivated, encouraged, they end up being discouraged. Further still, food insecurity. It is caused by conflicts, violence, among others. Here you find there is nobody who is working at home. An incident happened in our school. A child was caught having packed stones. I tried to follow up this learner because I got concerned. But in the process of inquiring from the learner, I came with the reason as to why the child did so. The child told me he was open, he told me that, do you know what, teacher? For me, I failed to get something to pack. At home, we had food, and even what we ate for supper was not enough. And remember, our teacher in class had promised to punish each and every child who will come without food. So he had to make ways of dodging the teacher's punishments. But you can imagine, in real sense, the child has no food.
Okay,
And you can just
I
imagine.
just want to just explain that to someone that might not quite understand what you're saying. So I believe I'm hearing you say that the teachers would discipline a student if the student didn't bring a lunch.
Yes.
So since there was a student, and the teacher will punish that student if they didn't bring a lunch.
Yes.
So what the student did is he took stones
Yes.
and put in his lunchbox
Yes.
to pretend that he had a lunch to keep himself from getting in trouble because he didn't have any food at home.
Yes.
I just want to make sure I understand.
Because the teacher used it to just to carry, could not get them off, like uncovering the boxes and see what is inside. So the boy thought that the teacher would just carry and think that there is some food inside. But in actual sense, the child had no food, and you can all imagine what can happen when you are empty, you have empty stomach. It is one of the challenges our children are facing, which are hindering them from performing well in their studies. Last but not least, there is price fluctuation. The rising and falling of the prices of commodities has caused the people to leave work today. You find a commodity is being purchased at least a favorable amount today, but tomorrow you find that the price has risen. This has caused most people to leave business. Thus, lack of finances to provide for their children. The case in point, providing their children with scholastic materials. You find a learner has come to school, doesn't have a book where to write, doesn't have a pen. When you ask, where is your book? Where are you going to write? That my mom said that you be patient, that you teacher be patient at least for 1 week. And you can just imagine, where will this learner be writing? So we find ourselves for sure taking that responsibility of parents, because when you look at such, you really feel concerned. And sometimes the children are meant to help, and sometimes we fail to help and leave. There are many children in such cases. Some parents are harsh to their children. Also, there is an incident that happened in our school where I teach. One of the girls, she was 9 years, from P3 class. She was found of a wound on her private part. It was God's grace that He revealed that to me, because the girl had hidden that from the parents. And you can imagine, if a kid is not able to be open to the parents, he'll be open to. So by the grace of God, I came to know what was taking place. The girl had a wound. I followed her. As I told you that you have to show love, that these children need love. If a teacher is open, is trying to show love, that one can let children to be open, and even they can communicate even the secrets. You can find a child is hiding the issues from a parent, but at least is open, and there you see that God is helping his people. Children can be able to be restored. So a child was restored in that way. She was open to me. She told me, I said, is your parent aware of what happened? She said, no. If my parents come to know what happened, my parents, all of them, my father, my mother, all of them, they will punch me, they will beat me, they will do what? So the kid had to hide that secret. The story is too long, but you can come to know really what our children are going through. I've come to recommendations. One, because I have mentioned all those challenges, remember they are those which I have not mentioned, but all of them, they are hindering the growth, the development, the performance of a Ugandan child. My recommendation number one is to have prayer partners. Let countries join, starting with these ones represented, to pray to God. I believe God shall hear us, heal us. Second Chronicles chapter 7, verse 13. Yes. That when God's people shall gather together, and God will be able to hear their prayers, will heal their land. They am recommending that let's join together to pray for our country, Uganda.
Yes.
Secondly, I recommend to have education conferences. When parents, school committees, teachers, political leaders meet and discuss, I believe their discussions will create a big impact. On top of that, I request our international friends to help us with trainers, to train the leaders. For example, in brackets there I have written religious leaders, all the big role they are playing. So if they are trained, if they are motivated, they can still do a great work. I also wrote there education. You find that our people, yes, they're educated, but they are somewhere, not having skills. Yeah, they don't have skills. I had also written circles. We found out that when people come together, and it is one of our president's directive for the country, advised us that when we save together, at least somebody can be able to stand and do something, hence solving the problem of poverty,
So I think I understand.
lack of finances.
Yeah, so it's a community effort where everyone puts little in one pot.
Yes.
And you cannot raise up each person, but at least you can raise up one.
Yes.
And then that one, what is the responsibility of the one that is raised up?
Yes.
To put back in a pot,
Yes.
and to be able to again help one more.
Yes,
Wow.
that's it. Wow. That's it. So if our people are trained in doing that, starting from family level, I believe that at least anybody will be able to at least get fair money, at least to do something. Yes, like he advised us still, there is an initiative program he came out with that people with the same enterprises to be together. For example, the produce dealers, they form their circle. The saloon, the people with handcrafts, different enterprises to be together, they form their circle. He's trying also, he's seeing that our country is really having a lot of issues, most especially due to economic hardship. I have a motto that says, knowledge is power. The knowledge comes from God to the ones He has called, and through them, others are able to receive. Amen. May the Almighty reveal to each of you that motto. Knowledge is power. The knowledge comes from God. I believe that, yes, we can be teachers, we can teach these learners, but the knowledge we impart in them comes from God.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's why, from my recommendations, we've been saying that I'm requesting my friends, our international friends, I believe in you so much that the Almighty God is using you, spiritually is using you. You have been really our supporters. You have been really our supporters. That's why I'm saying that knowledge is power, and our people are lacking knowledge. I believe that when they get knowledge, like somebody can try to do something, but when that person is not having knowledge of doing it, I usually tell my people that even somebody, you can be telling your friend that, do you know what, I need money, and the person can say, okay, I give you money, you have it. But because of lacking knowledge, at the end you can ask that person, you can ask him or her the accountability, and the person end up failing to give the accountability because of lacking knowledge. Yes. I believe so much, I have come to the conclusion, I believe so much that this conference will never leave me the same. When I go back to my country, the peer learning I have had has built my trust in relationships, and this will create the next gen profession network. I like so much the mission of our school. It says that to bring up God's fearing students, academically sound, and self-reliant citizens. So I'm praying so hard as I'm promising to create as I'm promising that when I go back in my country, things will not remain the same. I pray so much that let that change start with the school where I'm working from. Then, as I told you, that I'm also taking other schools in the town council. I'm praying so much that really this conference, as it ended, you can put it back. I believe this conference will never leave me the same. When I go back to my country, the peer learning they have had has built me, my trust in relationships, and this will create the next gen professional network. Thank you so much. If there is anybody who want to give the submission, thanks.